There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You gotta let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning. That seemed, when I'm talking, it seems really loud in my face. Okay, good. Welcome. Does anyone need a welcome packet or just a little thing that explains about unity to take for yourself or to give to a friend at home? Nobody's jumping for that. They're up here in the basket if you want to take one on your way out the door. Let's go ahead and say our mission statement. To awaken, acknowledge, and nurture the divine in everyone. But I did want to let everyone know, if you have not yet heard, that our beloved Vicki passed away this last Thursday. And that is such a joyful picture of her. If you knew her, you knew her smile and how ready and willing she was to just give of herself and give her energy. And she shared so much of herself with us that she will truly be missed. And so we'll be talking a little bit about her today, but just in that, I don't know about you, but when I see a picture like this, it lifts me up. It gives me strength. It gives me hope. And I know that is exactly the face she's making right now. So that is my comfort. Let's bring this into center and let's sing our thoughts or prayers.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Okay, so let us move right into prayer. Divine Spirit, Divine Comforter, we know that our thoughts and our prayers are being divinely guided. We trust that the comfort we feel comes from touches a very deep place within that can be replicated and sought after and easily found in every moment. We know that our guidance takes us inward to a place where we find you, God, right here, right now. This divine presence we experience together in unity as truth, as love, as intelligence, as life, as eternal beings. The eternity of all that is gives us comfort, for we know that truly we are never alone. All is well at the highest level, and it is good. And so it is. So while we're in this sacred place and this space that we're creating together, let's just move right into meditation. If you have anything that is weighing heavy in your heart, if you were close to Vicky or are just sad to see her go, let's bring that beautiful image in your mind's eye. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, knowing that you are in a safe place. And focusing on your breath. And with every release of the breath, let go, knowing that all is well. All is exactly as it should be. Breathing in the love that is all around you. Letting that swirl in your heart center and exhaling it as exponential love. We are each putting our own imprint on this love as we exhale it into the room. We know ourselves as one. As we continue to focus on our breath, resting deeper and deeper into our heart center, becoming one with our thoughts aligning with our heart. We rest. We know we are surrounded by the light of God. We are protected. We are comforted. We find our strength here in the stillness. And we breathe. From the Daily Word, the word is free. Centered in God, I am set free. Centered in God, I am set free. I internalize these words as I focus on my heart center, as I focus on my breath. I feel the freedom that comes with knowing that all is well, from knowing that I am not alone. So if you'll continue to allow my words to be your words. Freedom is my sacred identity, and the joyful song in my heart sings. I need to make no outer effort to become free. As I accept my authentic self, my divine identity, I celebrate my uniqueness in God. Knowing this truth releases me into my true state, and I am joyously liberated and free. I have a creative mind, a willing heart, a playful spirit, and a strong imagination. By claiming, engaging, and sharing my spiritual gifts, I find an outlet for my unique expression that allows me to share freely of those gifts. My true nature is revealed as a confident, powerful, loving soul, a perfect outpicturing of God. I now release myself into my natural state of freedom. And from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit that is from God. And so as you continue to focus on your breath, focusing in your heart center, imagining that beautiful face of Vicky or of any of your loved ones that you want to place right here and now in your mind's eye. We see these souls as they experience freedom, as they rise up from their challenges. Put yourself in that pink bubble of light that is your heart. Imagine yourself rising up out of your struggles, out of whatever despair is buried deep within you. And let it experience freedom with every breath you take. Know that it is all for the serving of the highest divine purpose. There is no fear here. There is no suffering, no pain. When we are comforted by the divine, we allow ourselves to let go and experience the peace of God.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
So, the energy's a little bit low in the room, and that's okay. It's okay to sit with our discomfort sometimes. It's okay to be in this place. And it's okay to feel peace and happiness for someone who is now free. If this is a time for you where you feel tremendous sadness, that is just as much to be honored as if you are sitting here feeling release, feeling contentment, feeling maybe even joy. I know that might sound strange to say, but I guess I'm just this really weird person that for me, death is every bit as beautiful as birth. I view it as it is a birth. It is a birth into something new, a new chapter, a new beginning, a new return to a life, an eternal life. And I'm very excited for someone when they make their transition. I understand the pain that we go through as well, but I can hold the highest truth that freedom, joy, and life itself is the expression that is experienced by those that pass. And so I do believe Vicki is right here with us today. I do believe that. And I believe that because after someone passes, it's been so soon. It's only been a few days. And she is here to be a comfort to you. She hasn't completely transitioned to her next journey. Part of I like the word when someone makes their transition, because it is a transition. It's not a light switch. There is a process that we go through on both sides of the veil when we come into a new dimension. And part of that is still being connected to where you just came from, and assimilating that and processing that and taking it with you. Think about when you see a brand new baby, right? How open they are and how they're looking around with such awe and glory, because that's where they came from. They came from a place of awe and glory. And now, if you ever looked at right in a baby's face, do you see them looking up above you? They're seeing the light that is around you. That is something that they still see. Just like when someone passes, they can see us, but they see a higher path. They see a higher truth. They're no longer encumbered by the weight of the world, by the weight of their body and their physical suffering. So they can experience elation, and they can project that onto us and help us through our healing. So we're talking today about comfort because that's our theme for the month, is finding comfort. And so I just love that that's our theme when we're dealing with this particular challenge. The Christ presence is my guide, my strength, and my comfort. That is our affirmation. The Christ presence is my guide, my strength, and my comfort. Do you want to say that with me? The Christ presence is my guide, my strength, and my comfort. Coming home to Spirit is comfort. When we come here together and share this space, we are recognizing Spirit. The Spirit that is everywhere present, the Spirit that resides within each of us. And there is such a peaceful, lovely level of comfort in that. I know I feel that when I come through these doors, and then when I'm in the back room and I hear this space fill up with voices as it gets closer to 10 o'clock, I feel comfort. Because I know that my brothers and sisters have come here to share a time and space with me. It's like that. I'm taking it personally. You're all here to share time and space with me. But we do that for one another. Adele's in the center of the back row there. Everybody has come here to be here for Adele just as well. And each one of us. So God is with us through it all, right? All of it. When we're experiencing the light, when we're experiencing darkness, God is here to hold us up. Sometimes when we don't feel like we need to be comforted, God is here. And when we do feel like we need to be comforted, God is here. Our part is to do nothing more than to let go, allow, seek, ask questions, but be receptive to those answers. We talked about spiritual guidance, our divine guidance that is inherent within us a couple weeks ago. And how if we just let go, stop, rest, allow, that guidance comes immediately. It's just releasing and being present to the moment. What is mine to do right now? And if you're not the type to hear voices, which most of us aren't, you will know. It's natural. It's a natural process. It's nothing that we have to really think about. It's just following the intuition, not questioning every decision. Because when we are home, when we are centered in spirit, the anxiety of the decision-making process is gone. And we can just relax into the knowing. And that was with divine guidance, and it is the same with strength. You can apply that idea, that principle, to any of the 12 powers that we celebrate here in unity. They're all right here, right now, present, because in our Christ consciousness, we are that. So when we're looking for inner strength, spiritual strength, personal strength, even physical strength, it is all coming from spirit, from that God within that is everywhere present. I keep saying God within and everywhere present, because the same God that is filling up this space is also residing within each of us. The same God that smited the peoples of the Old Testament, right? is right here, right now, healing us. Being the love. Let me go to the revealing word for strength. Strength is the energy of God. Freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All strength originates in spirit, the thought and the word spiritually expressed being the manifestation. It sounds like it's one. The thought that we wish to express is at the same time becoming the manifestation of that thought. We see that really quickly and clearly when we've done our work to release and let go of our ideas of what something should look like, the expectations and the control that we just love to put on everything. Even in a good-natured way, we have an idea about what we want our next job exactly to look like. And so we put this beautiful idea into a little box, and we focus on that box. What's inside of it? The gift, right? But the actual gift is so much bigger than that. And when we can let go of the control and the expectation, the attachment to what we think that gift should be, that takes a tremendous amount of strength. But when we can do that, we get so much more. That's a principle of abundance, of prosperity, isn't it? And it takes strength to let go of what we think prosperity, if I just brought that up. So if we think prosperity needs to look a certain way, it works a certain way. But if we could just let go of all those ideas that we have about anything and just be open to receiving the sight of what's actually coming at you, that takes a tremendous amount of strength to do. Because it's almost like you're letting go of yourself, really, right? We're so caught up in our heads so much of the time that we don't even realize that we are projecting our personalities into situations. Like, well, I'm going to take a stand on this at work or whatever. Or I'm going to take a stand on this in my relationship because this is what I think it needs to look like. What about just letting go and letting the love flow? I know, what am I, hippie? Yes, but, there's so much truth in that hippie movement. A few boundaries that came along the way helped, but if you stuck with that love of all people, that we're all brothers and sisters. I'm rambling this morning. And I'm trying to bring it back to strength because this rambling of ideas of just being loose with your mind, loose with your ideas, letting things go, being loose is not what's typically comfortable for us. But that is the path towards strength. Because the more we let go of what we think things should be out here, the easier it is for us to come into center, where we truly find what we're looking for. Okay, so with my rambling, I'm going to skip ahead. I wanted to share a couple of quick little things with you. How Can I See This Differently was the name of an article that Unity Minister Patricia Bass wrote, and I think I shared this with you like a year or so ago. But I thought it was relevant for this kind of loose idea of what we're talking about in regard to strength, because how can I see something differently is a bold step. It's a letting go of my idea that this is how it needs to be. And it takes a tremendous amount of strength to see something differently. She wrote, "What can you do when things don't turn out the way you'd hoped? It happens all the time. You dedicate yourself to a relationship that ends. You throw yourself into a project that fails. You vote for a candidate who is not elected. I'll bet you could name a dozen disappointments. Depending upon the circumstance and just how invested you were in the outcome, it is natural to feel an army of uncomfortable emotions: fear, sadness. Fear, she says that again, anger, despair, and fear. It all comes back to that, doesn't it? Noticing the feelings is important. Giving yourself permission to be present to them is vital before you can begin to move forward. Once you are ready, there is a powerful question for you to ask yourself. How can I see this differently? One of Unity's fundamental teachings is the law of mind action. It says that we are co-creating our world with God through our thoughts. As the saying goes, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. What kind of thoughts are you holding in this moment? Quick, check yourself. Are they the kind of thoughts you want to use to co-create your world? When you find yourself disappointed or discouraged, it might seem natural to simply look around for someone or something to blame. We've all done that, haven't we? But when you do that, you start to feel like a victim. You are giving your power away to someone or something outside of yourself. Instead, ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Listen to your inner wisdom and shift your mindset from blame to empowerment. Take inventory of your thoughts and change your thinking to match what you want to create in the world. Look at your choices and take personal responsibility for them. Positive thoughts are magnets that naturally lead to positive actions and energy. Changing your outlook really can change the outcome. And she finishes with, the truth is that we all have the power to control our thoughts, even in the midst of huge disappointments. And when we realize that our thoughts have power, we know that we are not victims to them. We can choose thoughts that position us for success. The next time you find yourself disappointed, realize it is just one more opportunity to ask yourself, how can I see this differently? And then there's another story that I've shared before, but I thought it was great to talk about again today because it's a story of young men in battle. And we have this warrior archetype, right, that can provide us with strength when we're focusing on that. This is part of what's already in each of us. And so this article is by Michael Sheets, entitled God in War, and it's from Unity Magazine online. And he says, how does God express in my life? It was Thanksgiving Day in 1968, and I was a combat photographer assigned to cover activities in the 4th Infantry Division in Vietnam. We were at the site of a remote artillery fire support base in the Central Highlands. It was cloudy and misty as we waited for the arrival of a hot, traditional Thanksgiving dinner flown in by a support helicopter. But because of the precarious flying conditions, we were doubtful that the chopper could make a landing. From my position in an underground bunker, I suddenly heard the loud and frantic screams of a soldier yelling, "Oh God! Oh God! Please help me!" Several of us rushed out of the nearby bunkers and ran toward the sound of this cry. But what we discovered caused us to stop dead in our tracks. We soon learned that the panic-stricken soldier had been seated less than 6 feet from a fellow soldier who accidentally discharged an M79 grenade launcher. The unexploded projectile had lodged in a soft part of the man's collarbone area, partially protruding out of his back. Due to the short distance of the trajectory and the fact that it did not pass through his body, the grenade was not fully armed and did not explode. Since we were uncertain as to if or when it might detonate, no one was eager to get too close to the soldier or provide assistance. All the while, he continued to scream for God to help him. In the midst of the confusion, a young sergeant arrived on the scene. Even though he was not a trained medic, he immediately began to administer first aid, applying a compression bandage to the wound. He spoke calmly and reassuringly to the wounded soldier. Others in the unit began to step forward to assist, and arrangements were made for a medevac chopper. Slowly, the weather began to improve, and eventually, the medevac chopper and the helicopter carrying our holiday meal were able to land. The wounded soldier was flown to a field hospital for treatment. Certainly, this was a day we all had much to be thankful for. Can you imagine the strength it took for that one sergeant to approach and speak calmly, to speak peacefully, to bring that presence into the situation, and then everyone around could pick up on that, identify with it, because we all have that within us. So when we see it, we can reproduce it easily. We can all become calm. We can all become mindful and present in any difficult situation and know exactly what to do. So strength of character. Sometimes from the outside that does look like peace, like calm. It's not always the warrior ready to go to battle. It's the warrior who knows the battle is already won. Right? And there is no one against me. Everything is good. Everything at the highest level is exactly as it should be, and we can rest in that. So as we go within, as we come home to the presence and find comfort there, the very being of our character is strengthened. The outward expression of this newly fortified character may be witnessed by others as peace, as calm, as presence. You can know yourself as strength in the stillness. Becoming the eye of the storm, you are unattached to all the thought chaos swarming around you. The emotions can easily move through you, and you don't feel the need to attach to them. You can feel them in your body, allow them to flow through and release as easily as they came in when we are centered in strength. Navigating life becomes a beautiful experience when we are standing in strength and knowing exactly what we are. In God's grace, we can do this and effortlessly live, move, and have our being as that. So my blessing for you is that Creator Source be your guide and your strength. May you walk in beauty, in peace, in joy. May you know the gifts of the Christ presence and experience comfort in your life because of it. This wisdom is already found within you. You are all already blessed. You are all perfect children of the one true Source and Creator. And so it is.
Hey, hey, hey.
No longer bound, no more chains holding me. My soul is resting. It's just a blessing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I'm free. Is that your testimony? I am free. Praise the Lord. I'm free. I'm no longer bound. No more chains holding me. Lift your hands and say it. My soul is resting. It's just a blessing. Praise the
I am free. I think that is just such a beautiful sentiment to send to Vicki on her way. You know, I rise up and I am free. So I invite you now to gather your gifts, your tithes, your love offerings into your hands. This is our opportunity to give back to the community that spiritually nurtures us. So as you're holding with intention, lovingly, giving your attention to these gifts, let's say our blessing together. Divine love, flowing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity, prosperity, I claim it, I claim it. Abundance, abundance is mine, is mine. Love, love flows through me, flows through me. I feel joy, I feel joy all the time, all the time. I can have it, I can have it. I deserve it, I deserve it. I claim it, I claim it. It is mine, it is mine. I can have it, I can have it. I deserve it, I deserve it. I am it, I am it. It is mine, it is mine. Peace, peace fills my heart, fills my heart. I surrender, I surrender everything, everything. Health, health is my birthright, is my birthright. Helps me sing. I can have it. I can have it. I deserve it. I deserve it. I claim it. I claim it. It is mine. It is mine. I can have it. I can have it. I deserve it. I deserve it. I am it. I am it. It's my time. It's my time. Break it on down. Anything I want. Anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. I release, and let go, I accept, what is mine, I can have, what I want, and let spirit, direct the flow. Life is good. Life is fun. Life is great. This song is done.
So I invite you to bring your attention up here one more time as we bless these gifts that you have so generously offered to your community. You've done this in a spirit of prosperity, for we know that as we give, so do we receive. It is all one and the same, and we honor these gifts and know that the work that will be done because of them is good, and it serves the Lord, it serves the God within, it serves us all in unity, and so it is.